Yo, what's good YouTube? It's Bordsy, and this is going to be a review of the ASUS 360Hz monitor. It has a longer name, may or may not be in the title, but I'm going to refer to it as the ASUS 360Hz monitor. And this is the best purchase I have ever made in my life. $700 to get a pure, joyous, and blissful experience from my monitor. I think a monitor is a good thing to invest in, but 360Hz may be completely useless for some people, and I'm not going to pretend that isn't the case. For me, you guys know me. I play fucking Crunker.io, Kovacs, maybe AimLab starting soon if you know what I'm saying. And I play Fortnite, but mainly creative because I fucking hate the charged shotgun. So in all of the games I play, I'm getting well above 360 FPS. But if you're struggling to even push like fucking 144, I don't think 360 hertz is going to be for you. And a lot of the people who seem to be good at games, their main concern is 240 hertz DIAC or 360 hertz no DIAC. And I can't really give you that answer. I've never tried any of the BenQ monitors. I will attempt to at some point. But I can say coming from the Acer 240 hertz, which had a TN panel to this 360 hertz IPS, the visual experience in game is definitely a lot better, mainly noticeable in Fortnite. When I loaded it up, I was like, holy shit, this actually feels kind of insane. And then within a few minutes, I completely got over it. On YouTube videos, you know, it's really not that much of a difference, I must say. And I don't know about like color accuracy. That matters for editing. If you're editing, you're not watching my videos, so happily don't have to cover that. 24.5 inches. This is a major fucking size increase over my prior 24-inch monitor. I still haven't really adjusted. I don't know if I'll ever be able to. That 0.5 inches, it's like, holy shit, it's like half an inch on both sides. I don't even know how to think about it. Navigating the monitor, it has this joystick thing. It's so fucking based. It literally, oh my god, it's so much more convenient than anything else I've used. But I'm sure a lot of top monitors have like similar things. I just came from a peasant budget 240 hertz. But yeah, to be completely honest, I've left most of the settings on default. For overdrive, I'm using normal. If you want to get the 1 ms response time that's advertised, you have to use the extreme. But I just don't think that's worth it. It does add a bit of noticeable ghosting, but I can't really notice anything on the normal mode. And I just play such fast-paced games. Like, if it was there, I promise I would be able to tell you. But obviously, I have not tried DIAC yet, so maybe that is a completely new world that I just can't perceive yet. So take that with a grain of salt, but I'm sure a lot of you guys saw BT's video where he said that the ghosting made it, like, unbearable, and that just wasn't the case for me. Next up, I'm just going to talk about the monitor stand because I complained about that before, and I basically got a whole new desk to remedy it, and yeah, it fixed it. They're still obnoxiously large, but yeah, I mean, not really a problem for me anymore, not getting in my fucking mouse and keyboard room. But yeah, it's obviously would be ideal if it was smaller. Some people are still gonna get fucked over by it, but if you have a big desk, you should be good. And obviously you can mount it, but I don't think you should really have to mount a $700 monitor. Like, I feel like the out-of-the-box experience should be good enough, but maybe that's just me being a bit nitpicky on a $700 monitor. And I'm going to try to explain how it felt coming from 240 hertz when I first tried it, and then like after using it for a while. So when I first tried 360 hertz, it was basically like everything was going slower. Like, the game was still in the same pace. Like, I'm moving as fast, doing the same shit, but like my perception of it was in like slow motion. So it was a lot easier for me to aim. And I still notice that. Like, if I go down to 240 hertz and go back to 360, that is the biggest difference for me. I guess that would just be the game being like smoother, but it's not smoother in the sense that like G-Sync makes the game feel smoother. It just felt a lot like, I don't even know. It felt like an out-of-body experience with my mouse and my monitor. And once I got the monitor, I used it for 2 weeks straight on 360 hertz, never changing anything while I was like tinkering around with some of the overdrive and shit. But then I just found my settings, used those for 2 weeks, and then I went back to 240 hertz. And 240 hertz legit felt clunky for the first like 10 minutes. And just saying the statement 240 hertz felt clunky, it's like unbelievable. But that's how it felt. And then I used 240 hertz for like a day, and I adjusted to it, went went back to 360, and I still had a mini like, whoa, 360 hertz is insane. And I have watched a few monitor reviews, and what I learned is that you have to record yourself playing a game. Fuck, nobody's in my game. That's so unfortunate. Does this count? Do I need to kill people, or is it just playing the game? I don't know. Some of the other reviewers' gameplay, they might as well just be walking around not shooting people. Okay, so I'm in a game with people now. I feel like this gives me a great opportunity to do a few things. First off, got to apologize for this camera angle. Honestly, I could probably have found something better, but just gonna have to live with it. Second off, I just want to bring up some ageism. So a lot of monitor reviews are done by people well above the Zoomer age range. And I don't know how I feel about that. You know, can you really trust anybody if they're not in your same generation? Personally, I think not. And a lot of these people who are like, oh, you can't see a difference between X and Y refresh rates, like, definitely not the case. Especially with 144 hertz. I hear people all the time try to say like that 144 hertz is good enough. I mean, yeah, it probably is, but once you go past 144 hertz, going back, you realize that it's basically just 60 hertz V2. That's actually playable. But yeah, a ton of you guys play like fucking insanely like intensive games and also play them on high settings. Why are you doing that to yourself? Is the visual benefit like really worth it? For me, I play every game on low settings. I'm a true gamer. Who the fuck cares about graphics? What is this, a single player game? Like, even so. And that's all for the gameplay portion. And I understand that my situation is a lot more niche and actually takes advantage of 360 hertz, like way more than most. And if you're not getting above 300 FPS on whatever you're playing, it's probably not worth it. But like everything about this monitor, aside from the stand, just feels premium. And it's been like an insane experience. It does feel like a high quality product, you know. And I have been completely monitor pilled, I must say. I feel like it's just such an important piece of a setup. It's what you're playing games on, it's what you're constantly looking at. There's no reason to cheap out. And as I've said multiple times, you don't need to get 360 hertz, but just settling for like $150 like 144 hertz monitor, if you can afford more, I would go for it, because you are going to notice a difference, presuming you're not some like old boomer. And now I just want to talk about 8K hertz polling rate on 360 hertz. Well, actually, not going to talk about it now. I'm going to mention that I will do a video talking about it. So if you're not subbed already and that's something you care about, make sure to subscribe. Should be out within a week. But I just wanted to, like, after I made the review, wanted to use 8K hertz for like a week or so, and then really come to a conclusion. I didn't want to try to like mix it in with the monitor testing. You know, it would have overcomplicated the process, considering the fact I upload like twice a day fucking somehow. But getting back to the monitor, it can adjust. You can adjust it with the default stand, and oh, it is seamless. I mean, it's pretty sick, I guess, really, unironically. And yeah, I wasn't joking at the beginning of this video when I said it was like one of the best purchases I've made, because it's easily by far the best monitor I've ever had. It was expensive as fuck. Yes, it came out to $750. I don't know if it was tax or shipping that added the extra 50. But I don't know. I feel like as a mouse reviewer, I should definitely have the best type. Whatever, I'm just coping. And I'm just going to quickly talk about the color settings. Honestly, I don't even pretend to know anything about it. I just use the G-Sync Esports default setting, and it makes everything look perfectly fine. In Fortnite, it makes it like really bright and vibrant. That's like kind of what I was talking about earlier. I don't know if that's really the IPS panel or just the brightness, but games look fucking perfectly fine. I was able to I definitely played a bit better. I will say that upgrading from 240 hertz was a direct maybe like 2 or 3% like performance increase. And like I mentioned before, it made things feel like slower and clearer. So I don't know. I just can't really put my word on like how it was like slowed down. If you've ever like time scaled in Kovacs, I can't believe this is my example. But if you put the game on like 0.97 or 0.98 on a tracking scenario, it slows the bots down. And that's basically how it felt felt in-game for me when I upgraded to 360 hertz. And eventually I got used to that, and I feel like I've just adapted to it and no reason to go back at this point. So going into like the overall value of the monitor, is it worth 700? Probably not. For like the vast majority of people watching this video, getting this monitor is probably not the best use of your money. Yeah, just to be completely honest. But of course, there are a select few people who will be able to justify a monitor like this. I don't know what games. I really don't care either. There's clearly games that get over 360, though. If you play one of those, I would go for this monitor. I really can't compare it to 240 hertz Diac, but that probably will be a better investment for a lot of people who play those like somewhat intensive games, but you can still push 240 with a good build, but you can't really get to 360. And if you play games on anything aside from low settings, you don't deserve a high refresh rate. So, you know, win-win-win. Also, I don't think I mentioned once that this is a 1080p monitor. It's all I've ever used in my life, so I have like no opinions on it. And like I said before, everything looked splendid. But yeah, I think that's going to be all for this monitor review. Also wanted to mention it has 2 USB ports. That's pretty cool. Have not made use of them yet, but that is pretty sick. And fuck, is there anything else I missed? Probably, because this is my first ever monitor review. Make sure to let me know what you think. Probably not going to be many more, since this is like my endgame monitor, unless I do get my hands on a BenQ1. But yeah, make sure to leave a like and sub if you enjoyed. That's going to be all. Peace.